Virgos, I'm Christy, you're watching Tiny Turtle Tarot, and this is your reading. As always, if anything I say resonates or you feel it will in the future, please let me know by liking and subscribing. Let's get on with your reading. What's happening for the beautiful Virgos this week? You just had the Six of Cups fly out, and there's one card on the floor already. The Sun, okay. Then you have the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Swords. So, firstly, the Six of Cups is the energy of something from the past returning. It could be a person, or it could just be a feeling of nostalgia, of you maybe looking back at your childhood a little bit this month. But it's also this feeling of just coming back into a more innocent, or innocent isn't the word, but into a more playful state of being, a more fun, go with the flow. And also just, I don't know why I'm getting this feeling that this month you're going to be in this energy of, if something isn't making you feel good or isn't making you happy, you're leaving it as soon as possible. You're putting it down to move to the next thing, which, you know, it's good. And it just reminds me of how kids are. It's like, oh, I've had enough of this toy now, I'm on to the next one. I've had enough of this, I'm moving on. And some of you, maybe it's to do with your work. You're realizing, yeah, you've had enough of it, let's move on. Could be to do with your friend group, or it could be to do with even your hobbies and the things you're doing. You're like, oh, I'm not enjoying this as much as I used to. Let me try something new. Let me move on from it. Then you have the Sun card, and the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. It's just a very positive energy. It's also like enlightenment and things being exposed and things being out in the open. So you could be being a lot more honest with others and yourself. And I'm not saying you weren't honest in the past. It's almost as if you didn't realize you weren't being yourself, or you didn't realize you weren't being more open. You're going to be more open. Then you have Nine of Cups. So this is leading to, so you have all this happiness with the Sun card and the Six of Cups, and then you have the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is emotional contentment and feeling very fulfilled in who you are and what you do, and feeling very happy with yourself and your life, even if basically nines in tarot can be very independent and very alone and very fiercely independent, very single energy. So even if you are single and you're watching this, there's just a feeling of you being completely full on your own. You're not half a person, you're not waiting for your other half. You're completely full of life and love on your own. And if someone else comes along, great, otherwise you'll be happy. And it's very much very healthy place to be in. And if you're in a relationship, it's as if you are still able to go your separate ways for a second and still be completely content and solid without having any like second thoughts or worries about your partner in a way. So some of you could live long distance, or someone's traveling in your relationship, but it just seems as if you're like, I'm happy doing my own thing, no worries. And you just, it seems very healthy. Then you have Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is very much, firstly, like, you've got your head screwed on, you're very intelligent, but it's almost as if this month in particular that's going to be shining through in some way. You're definitely going to be using your brain more than you usually have to, or it's also about your ability to kind of speak your mind, even if it has a bit of a sting to it, even if what you're saying might hurt, or not hurt, but it's almost as if basically Queen of Cups would be very careful about what she said. Queen of Swords is more of in a very analytical mindset of trying to figure out what's right and being very just, and maybe not thinking how someone else might interpret what you're saying. Like, I feel like someone could take something you say to heart, but you don't intend that. You're more like, just speaking my mind, I had to say my part, and there's something where someone could take something to heart and it could hurt somebody. So tarot is advice, so I don't think you're intentionally hurting anybody, obviously, but it just seems as if you might say something very quickly and then go, oh, like I almost had a really good example, but I can't use it. There's just a feeling of there's a feeling of you look at someone, you go, oh my goodness, I really don't like people that have cats, and they just have so many cats. And then you go, oh gosh, you have 20 cats. Sorry, didn't think. Like, it's almost like along those lines, that kind of energy where you're just speaking your mind a little bit, and you're very, very, very humorous as well. And then you go, oh, that applies to you. So there's just some type of thing of like, maybe think before you speak a little bit more, because you're going to be so much in... Some of you, it's like you're a comedian or something. You're very funny, because it's almost as if you're like so busy trying to make a joke or saying something the correct way that you're not actually realizing who you're saying it to or something. Clarify the Six of Cups, Temperance, and the Nine of Pentacles. So again, you've got 9. A lot of you are in this very single, independent, but I'm getting not independent, fiercely independent. Like, you're very much, very, very solid in your own energy, which is really cool. Temperance and the Nine of Pentacles with 6 of Cups. I don't know why I'm getting swimming pools come in. Random. You could be swimming or something. Some of you are swimmers. But maybe that's also like a metaphor or something. 9 of Pentacles and Temperance to clarify 6 of Cups. Some of you, it's like you want to be left alone a little bit, but you also want that balance with the Temperance card of, how do I be left alone but also not be alone? Like, there's this weird contradicting energy in you where you might I think sometimes you're fiercely independent, and the next second you're like, oh, also yeah, that would be nice, and then you're like, nope, fiercely independent. It's funny. Others of you that are in relationships, there's also advice here of you being fiercely independent and doing things for yourself, but your partner actually really wants to help you, but you're like, no, I've got it. And this person really, really, really wants to help. They really want to, it makes them feel very good to be able to, like, even if it's just something silly, like, oh, I'll help you get that off that really high shelf, and you're already grabbing the footstool, or not the footstool, the foot ladder or something, and you're already halfway up it, and they're like, oh, I could have just grabbed it, next time tell me, and you're like, no, I've got it, I can do it myself. There's something of you just being, not realizing, I think, how happy it would make someone just to be able to help you out more, rather than you doing everything. Yeah, clarify the Sun. The Ten of Wands. 10 of Wands is like letting things go and being able to drop things. Some of you, it's like you're moving on from a certain workplace and you're clearing out your desk and you're very relieved to be able to actually just throw everything in the bin or something. You're like, oh, there's a lot of files here, a lot of paperwork, and then you chuck it in the bin instead of looking through it, or maybe you shred it, I don't know. But there's just this feeling of like very happily shedding the past and cleaning. It just seems like cleaning out as well. Some of you, it's like spring cleaning, but it's almost like more than anything you're being very much more brutal with your cleaning. Like, maybe in the past you're like, oh, I might want that later, or I might need that for this, or I might want that for this. It's almost like you're being a lot more brutal of like, I don't need it now, I don't see myself needing it anytime soon, get rid of it. Or I don't love it, does it make me feel good? No, get rid of it. Like, there's something where you're being a lot more brutal, but it's going to bring you a lot of happiness. to have a lot more simplicity and less clutter. Clarify the Nine of Cups. The King of Swords. King of Swords with the Nine of Cups, but you've got Queen of Swords also, so that's funny because you've got like perfect counterparts around. King of Swords is very much knows when to speak and when not to speak, which is funny because I said about the Queen of Swords being very fast, very quick, very funny, very humorous, very intelligent, but the fact that the King of Swords is often described as like knowing when to speak and when not to speak, and being smart as well. It's almost like someone is gonna like show you the power of tact, or vice versa. You're going to show that to someone else. You know when to hold your tongue, somebody else doesn't. Somebody else just says the first thing that comes to their mind, and then you both, when you're around each other, very much balance each other out in teaching each other, oh, it's good to actually speak my mind sometimes, and the other person is like, oh, it's good to actually bite my tongue sometimes. It's very like opposites attract energy, but also you're both coming from the same place of being quite smart and wanting to voice your opinions, but also not really being able to do that. It's almost as if like in the right company, you're not in the right crowd, or you're not around the right people that would understand your thoughts if you were to share them anyway, so it would just cause conflict or something, like it would fall on deaf ears or something. The Hierophant just came out to clarify the Queen of Swords, and I said about teaching, you're going to kind of teach each other the value of, you know, either having a very loose tongue or biting your tongue, and there's just, both of you are so intelligent. There's some type of like, even if you're watching this and you're single, it's almost as if you have someone that you will meet soon that is going to be a partner to you in some way, and it could just be a business partner, it could be a love partner, but whatever it is, you're going to both learn a lot from your ways of communicating, and also just how you handle things. You might find that you and this person handle things very differently. Like, you might be very inward, this person's very much outward. Weird thing to say. I'm gonna wrap your reading up here. Thank you so much for watching. If anything I said resonated, or you know it will in the future, please let me know by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next Tuesday for Tiny Told Tarot Tuesdays.